Indie Beacon Radio with host B Alan Bourgeois. Welcome to Indie Beacon Radio, where creative souls can find help in marketing their creations. You can send questions for each show on Twitter using the hashtag IndieBeacon. Now sit back and enjoy learning about our guest for this show.
Hi, this is your host, B Alan Bourgeois. You are listening to or watching another episode of Indie Beacon, and we thank you for being with us. Today I have Christina Conner, who has written a book, but before we get too far into what the book is, let's welcome Christina. I'm glad you're here. So let's start off with, why are you doing what you do? Because you do more than just the book.
Let me see how I can put this in an easy flow.
We're okay with not it being easy, so that's all right.
Okay. So I do everything I do now because I came to a place in my journey of life of realizing the essence of who I am. Starting out in a very painful childhood, hearing messages from negative messages that were instilled in me as a child, which is, they are instilled in everyone. And so I grew up with very low self-esteem. There was a big theme with my dad working in cosmetics about beauty, and so I thought everything, my whole self-worth was about looks. And so I left home and went through a lot of relationships looking for this love, and we'll talk more about that in the book. But I found my spiritual home in 1988, and it's Unity. And it was when I stepped in there that first day and heard Reverend Howard Caesar, I knew I was home. A lot of people come to Unity and feel that same feeling because you feel total acceptance for who you are. And so that started my journey of peeling back the layers of pain and finding out why I was attracting things into my life based on my lack of self-love, lack of honoring myself. And so getting to that place of joy, I started, well, first of all, I had 3 kids to support on a waitress wage. So I was kind of in survival mode there. But so I was kind of a late bloomer, and all these things have started coming through me in just the last 20 years, a little later in life than maybe a lot of other people. And so I realized that our essence is joy. And so I became a laughter leader, teaching about joy and laughter. My book was about finding love for myself, and I did a little CD with little spiritual messages and affirmations. And so it's all about letting everyone know that their intrinsic worth is that their uniqueness and who they are, and that they have the love within them and joy, and to let that out and express it.
Now, that's a tough thing, because even when you come to that spiritual awakening, and I say this from my personal experience, it's not always an easy, smooth process. It could take years, it could take weeks, it could take months, it could take an overnight for some people. But generally speaking, it is a process.
Yes.
So you've done your process at least for 20 plus years now.
Mm-hmm.
Was there a reason why for you it took that long to get to that point where you could start sharing it with other people in a written or a CD format?
So the first thing that happened as far as writing, I was always writing in my teenage angst years because life was very painful. And a lot of people do that, or women. And so I was at work one day, and this was I started there at 92, And probably about the year 2000 or so, someone put a little note on our bulletin board that Ariel Ford was looking for writers to write a story in her book called Hot Chocolate for the Mystical Lovers. And I had just manifested the marriage that I was in, and I contacted her, and she said they were looking for one more story. And so the story just came through, it flowed, and I finished it and I sent it off, and they accepted it. And at that time I was like, oh my gosh, I can be a writer. I am a writer. Now I forgot where you started with the question.
It was not an easy question. So, all right, so in 92 you wrote that, but you continued to write. And so what brought you to the point of writing the book?
Oh, okay. So it was one of those wonderful divine synchronicities. We have a number of wonderful, over the years, spiritual authors and speakers, so many, Deepak Chopra, Wayne Dyer, on and on. But we had, and our special events coordinator knew that there were some speakers that sometimes we needed rides for them. So I had gotten a divorce and met my present husband, and that was such another spiritual experience. So this woman's name was Tama Keeves, and still is, and she's a life dream coach. She was a lawyer and decided she wanted to be a writer. So anyway, I picked her up from the hotel, and she and her partner were in the back seat, and they were asking me, and I was so excited about what had happened in my new relationship. And I was telling her the story of how someone saw me in the lobby of the sanctuary, and she was asking me about my new love, my new husband, and I was telling her, and she said, "Oh, Christina, you deserve it." So I was telling Tama this story, and she goes, that's the title of your book. And I got shivers. And she goes, and that's the first chapter of your book. And I got shivers. So I went back home and just started writing the book at that point. And it took a while because I was working full time. And then later on I went to part-time, which gave me more time to finish the book.
And so we don't have a whole lot of time to get into the book for this part of the show.
Okay.
But the book is You Deserve It. That's the short version of the title. And that is something that most people seem not to understand, is that they do deserve to be a multiple of things, and love being the most important one. And there are other things as well, abundance and peace and a whole bunch of other things.
Yes.
With the writing of your book, you've also ended up creating a workbook, if I understand correctly. Is that right?
No, but I did put it on audio. I did a 2-year process of going into a studio. So it is on audiobooks and audible.com also.
Okay.
But
I thought there was some
workbook.
workbook type aspects to it.
It's a good idea. There's 3 exercises in the book, and I have taken those and done those at retreats. You Deserve It retreats. So maybe that's what you were thinking of.
Yeah, that's it. Because I remember seeing something about a retreat and also about the exercises and stuff. So I thought it was a workbook. My apologies. But yes, it is a good idea.
Yeah.
And with that, we are at the end of the first segment. So I will stop and we'll let our sponsors steward their thing, and we'll be right back.
The 5th Annual Authors Marketing Event is coming to Granbury, Texas, July 24th through the 27th. Join us and learn from the professionals how to properly market and sell yourself and your books. Go to ame.authorsmarketingguild.com for all the details. That's ame.authorsmarketingguild.com.
I'm Rox Berkey.
And I'm Charles Brakefield. We're award-winning co-authors, Brakefield and Berkey, of the Enigma book series. There are 10 books in these series, with book number 11 planned for release in January 2020.
Each story has a central technology focus ranging from identity theft to cryptocurrency and now AI wars. These adult techno thrillers pit cyber good guys against cyber thugs across the darknet.
In our world, technology is today's weapon of choice. You can enjoy ebook format, paper, or Audible. We want your feedback.
Until the next story, thank you.
Thanks.
Well, hello there, my friends. My name is Randy James, independent voiceover producer in the Dallas, Texas area, available to write and record a 30-second commercial, much like the one you're hearing right now. It's a great way to help increase awareness and exposure to your book title. It's easy to do. Simply call me and we'll brainstorm on a few ideas, and in a few hours, I'll whip something up and send you a digital file ready to use. Remember, call or text me, Randy James, at 214-762-1942.
Hello, I am the author and poet Denise Bryson. I am the author of The Things That Cross My Mind, Love's Reality, both in book and audio form. I am also noted as one of the best poets of 2011. I have two new projects coming up. One is the Blinky series, where Blinky tells us all about our coins and our bills for our children. I also have a book coming out called Say Ye. It's quotes from Denise Bryson, just inspirational and that will help you along the way.
Welcome back to Indie Beacon Radio. Don't forget to like us, follow us, or subscribe to one of our many channels. Now, here is your host for today's show.
And welcome back to another episode of Indie Beacon. I am with Christina Conner. We've been talking about her book, actually how she got to the point of writing her book. And so, Christina, I mentioned in the last segment that You Deserve It is a short version. You have a subtitle to it. So please give us the full name of the book and what it's about.
Okay, so let me say that it is under my pen name, Marissa Bellamy, and the publisher thought it was better for me to have names and locations changed because it is a memoir, so to protect people. But it's You Deserve It, and it's a true story of learning to say no in order to say yes to big love. So I guess you would like me to explain that, right?
Yeah, I was getting ready to ask. Okay, help explain that. So I'll let you go for it.
So, because my parents' marriage was not a wonderful model, and I love my parents, and my mother was from Italy, and my father was more of cool type, and so they really had a culture clash, and so I really didn't know what real love was, a good, loving relationship. And I thought it was all about, oh, you fall in love and you're infatuated and you get married and that's it. And you live happily ever after. So that was what I thought. So I had this search for love. And so the first marriage, it didn't work out. I was very young. I wanted to get away from home. Basically, through my relationships, I was not really honored. They were wonderful people, but I felt like I was not honored or cherished or respected. And so the marriages dissolved. And I started to, during that spiritual journey, started to wonder, what is this pattern about? And so I've always been very introspective. So I started really looking within and seeing that I myself didn't really honor myself because I was allowing certain things to happen in my life. And so through the journeys of relationships, each time I went back in to see why this was happening. And I realized that that I needed to say no to certain behaviors that didn't honor me or respect me. as those were based on how I felt about myself, the low self-esteem. So as I started to grow in my esteem, I started to realize that I was attracting uh, people into my life based on that low self-esteem. So learning to say no to certain situations, it could, a lot of women do this, and I'm sure men too, but stay in relationships for various reasons, and they don't, they just don't, I don't want to say they don't respect themselves. They don't really realize their worth, that they deserve to have a fulfilling life and love relationship.
But that
So,
doesn't just apply to women either, though. I mean, it does apply to
no,
anybody for self-worth of a lot of things. Is that not correct?
that is correct. It is. I, you know, it was my woman's journey. And so I, in the work that I do, I meet a lot of women that go through that. But you're so right. It's for anyone who is allowing disrespect or dishonor in their life to say no to it.
And that's not an easy thing to do. I mean, like you said, it's a process of learning, first off, that you have the right to say no,
Mhm.
and that you do deserve whatever it is.
Yeah.
And somebody like myself who started my journey back in the early 80s, it's like I said, it's a long journey. It comes back and bites you in the ass every so often. So has that happened to you where you thought, okay, I'm finally cool with it, and then all of a sudden, boom, something happens, and it's like, maybe I need to work on this a little more.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm just going to say yes. I'm not going to go into details, but yeah, no, I'm not there. I'm not at the, you know, arrival. Um, we're always going to have something to work on. And even in relationship, I went back and added a prologue and an epilogue to the book because, oh, the book ends with this wonderful, wedding, and then I realized that that's not the be all and end all. Relationship is a spiritual journey, and so I do mention a number of processes or books that on my journey, and one of them is the whole imago therapy, and so I quote Harville Hendrix at the back about relationship being a spiritual journey. So there's still things that need to be worked on in relationship. That makes sense?
Yes. And so with that in mind, are there any future books that are still coming out of all this learning process and growth process, whether it be through the retreats that you've done, the helping of others, things of that nature?
Yeah, funny that you should ask that. I'm in it's called a spirit group through Inide, and we have about 8 or 9 people, and we use this book called What If It All Goes Right? Anyway, we were sharing, and I was saying that I was really ready to write another book, but I really wasn't getting the guidance on what it's going to be. And this was about a week and a half ago. And being home, because usually I'm at work, so we are working from home. That has given me and many other people more time to reflect on things and get insights. And so I did get it. Vaguely, I feel like I've learned how to really love life and be in love with life, and that hasn't been an easy process to get to. So I think it may be a series, another You Deserve It, or You Deserve to Fall in Love with Life, maybe. So I've just kind of gotten the titles and I haven't really gotten into the meat yet, but I feel like that's on the way.
Okay. We have just a couple minutes left of this section of the show. And you are something I had never heard of. And if, I'm going to try to get this correct, so bear with me if I get it wrong.
All
But you're
right.
a laughter leader, certified laughter leader, is that correct?
That is correct. That is correct. And
What
that
is
was part, what is it? So part of that journey of on kind of peeling back layers of pain and hurt, I got to this place of joy. And so when 9/11 happened, I remember being in this grocery store line, and I was really studying all about happiness and positive psychology. And I saw this magazine with a big smiley face on it, and it said how to be happy. And there's times when I just know that there's things that I need to buy or pick up. So I took it home, and it was all these different articles. And I saw a picture of these people in India doing this funny laughter, this funny face, like a lion or something. And I started reading it, and it was all about these laughter yoga classes that started in 1995 with a Dr. Madan Kataria. He reasoned that he had so many patients that were stressed out that laughter would do some of the opposite effects for it. So he started this whole movement, and then Dr. Steve Wilson started the World Laughter Tour. So in that article, I saw that and I said, I want to do that. So I flew to Baltimore and took the training, came back to Houston, got in the paper, and the phone started ringing off for about a year. And what it is, it's exercises just to get the laughter and all the physiological effects of laughter. You've heard laughter is the best medicine. There was Patch Adams, Norman Cousins. So it's all about that. And so I love conducting laughter sessions. I love being silly. And if anybody wants me to come out and conduct a laughter session, I'd be happy to do it.
all righty. Well, I'm glad for that because we do need more laughter in the world, that's for sure, especially now with COVID.
Yes.
Isolation and stuff, that makes it a challenge and stuff. So
Mhm.
we are at that point. I do need to take a break. You heard that bell, and so we're going to step away, let the sponsors do their thing. We'll be right back.
Hi, I'm Jerry Reedy, author of the book Heat in the Vegas Night. The book is a true inside story of a group of sophisticated blackjack players that take large sums of money from Las Vegas, led by one man, the boss, who trained a group of ex-college athletes from the Pacific Northwest to use a mirror to see the dealer's hole card in blackjack. The true story, stranger than fiction, is about casino espionage, teamwork, guts and determination, and courage. Find the book at Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and Target.
Thank you for watching or listening to Indie Beacon Radio. Our sponsor, IndieLector.store, is the only bookstore that pays authors their fair share for book sales. Help authors to succeed and enjoy a great book by supporting them at IndieLector.store. Enjoy a 10% discount with coupon code SHOPPER20 at IndieLector.store. Coupon valid until December 31st, 2020. That's IndieLector.store, coupon code SHOPPER20.
What started as a love letter to her son has become an international love letter for all parents to their children. Now you can read acclaimed author Shanalee Charbonneau's story to your children. When her son was very sick, she calmed him by singing her own song to him. She turned that song into the book, My Mama Loves Me, I'm Her Little Boy. She wrote 3 more magical books for all parents and kids 6 and under. Available at Indie Lector, Amazon, and all local and national outlets.
Authors Marketing Guild is a membership-owned organization designed to help authors succeed and learn how to better market and sell themselves and their books. Join us at authorsmarketingguild.com and receive so many benefits you'll wonder why you didn't join sooner. That's authorsmarketingguild.com.
Welcome back to Indie Beacon Radio. Don't forget to like us, follow us, or subscribe to one of our many channels. Now, here is your host for today's show.
And welcome back to Indie Beacon. This is your host, B Alan Bourgeois, and we have been talking to Christina Conner, who has written a book and has done other things. So let's start, Christine, with the most obvious thing. People who want to find out more about You Deserve It, the book, your CD, your laughing, your retreats, all of those fun things. How can they find you on social media, your websites, all that fun stuff?
Okay, so the first website I created was You Deserve It book. Somebody already taken youdeserveit.com. So youdeserveitbook.com will take you to the Amazon link for the book. But then I decided that I was doing all these different things that I needed to funnel them into one place. And so the other website I have is With Love Christina. I had a marketing gal maybe 10 years ago. We were trying to figure out a name, and I realized that I want to do everything with love. So withlovechristina.com will take you to You Deserve It website. It'll take you to Amazon for the book, for my CD, which is 16 positive messages with beautiful music in the background, with an affirmation and a quote. And it'll also tell you about the retreats I do. I do some spiritual coaching, weight loss coaching. I'll come out and speak about You Deserve It or laughter, any of those. I have workshops in another retreat, hopefully next year.
And so you are on Facebook and some other social media.
Facebook with Christina Conner, Christina Maria Conner, With Love Christina, You Deserve It. Instagram, Marissa Bellamy, Twitter. I don't usually do Twitter that much. So basically Facebook, Instagram, and I'm on LinkedIn also.
Great.
Under Christina Conner.
Okay. And on one of your websites, I believe it was You Deserve It book, you have a list of schedules of where you're going to be and activities and stuff, which of course nothing's going on until I think you had September. But that's where a lot of people can find your schedule and where you're going to be and stuff like that, correct?
Yes, on both youdeserveitbook.com and withlovechristina.com. There was a retreat. I was going to be doing a laughter session last month, but of course it got postponed till September. So that's on there. And then stay tuned for any retreats. I have a goal to have one in Hawaii. I was there about a year ago and found a retreat center. So that would be really yummy.
Okay, so we have just about a minute left, and I always ask our authors one last question. Do you have any words of encouragement or anything you want to share to inspire people?
Just that we are born with many spiritual powers, and that you can develop those. Love, peace. It takes a doing. It takes spiritual practices, going to your spiritual home, prayer, meditation. But you can get there. You can be the best version of yourself if you really work on it and try it and want it.
And that's the hard part, is wanting it to begin with and then working towards it, because as you mentioned earlier, you were embedded with a lot of thoughts and patterns from other people around you as you grew up that were not always positive, and you have to work through that. And it's not just, many people refer to it as a recording, a tape player that keeps going and going and going, and it's like thousands of miles long, and it takes thousands of days to get through that and to clean it up and to erase it.
It does. It took really, I mean, I've worked at Unity for 27 years, and so I'm in that environment, but it was so embedded, but through 20 years, excuse me, you know, I've been cleaning it up. There's still little tapes back there sometimes, but you can do it. But it does take, I don't want to say work, but it does. Spiritual and work.
That to me is the reason why we're here on this earth, is to go through that process. While we may be born as Christ-like, we definitely don't grow up that way.
Exactly.
And that's because of our surroundings and our own thought process and stuff. So process of growing up and ultimately ending our situation is to become like Christ in that respect. So
yes, we have that potential.
yes. So with that, I want to thank you very much for being with us on the show, and I wish you the best of luck.
Thank you so much. I'm glad to be here. Y'all take care.
Thank you for listening to Indie Beacon Radio, where creative souls can find help in marketing their creations. To learn more about Indie Beacon services, to be a guest on the show, or to advertise on our show, please visit our website.
Indie Beacon Radio with the host, B Alan Bourgeois.
Indie Beacon Radio is produced by B Alan Bourgeois for Authors Marketing Guild LLC, copyright 2020. Voiceover by Randy James, Lydia Bello, and B Alan Bourgeois. To be a sponsor of the show or for more information, please email us at info@authorsmarketingguild.com. To be interviewed for the show, please complete the form at radio.authorsmarketingguild.com. Music Always Rejoice by Ramcord